All right, let's dive into a story. It's a powerful parable about what happens when you go looking for meaning in a world where heaven, well, it's gone completely silent. We've got a knight, his shadow, and this terrifying quiet that sits between them.
So picture this. We're at the edge of the world, on this gray, totally indifferent shore. And here's our knight, Antonius Block, just crushed by the weight of his quest for meaning. And who does he meet? The Jester, a figure who is basically the world's unspoken chaos made real. It's a showdown between purpose and apathy, and it's happening on a beach that really could not care less.
Okay, so let's meet our two main players. First, you've got the knight. He is desperate, and I mean desperate to find just one single act, one thing he can do that will make his whole life mean something before death comes for him. And then there's the Jester, and he's no mere court fool. He's a living mirror, a shadow that forces the world to look at all the things it desperately tries to ignore.
Now, what's so fascinating is they're both wrestling with the exact same deep, gnawing doubt, but man, they are coming at it from completely opposite directions. The knight, he thinks meaning is a summit you have to conquer, right? An upward climb to glory. But the Jester? Oh no. He's taking the downward road. He's looking for meaning by digging down through all the hypocrisy and failure.
And the stage for this whole confrontation? It's what the story calls the silence of heaven. And this isn't just quiet, it is a profound, terrifying, absolute emptiness. You know that feeling? Like you're screaming your deepest questions into the void, and the only thing that comes back is the faint echo of your own voice? That's where they are.
But here's the twist. Where the knight hears nothing but a crushing absence, the Jester hears something else entirely. He starts speaking in what the source calls his void register, this cold, impartial, absolute voice, and he offers a completely different take on what this silence really is.
See, for the Jester, this silence isn't an empty space at all. It's a mirror, a giant mirror made up of all the uncomfortable truths that we, as a people, have all collectively agreed to just not talk about. The silence forces us to finally look at everything we've tried so hard to leave in the dark.
The Jester looks at all our most sacred things, our quests, our rituals, our beliefs, and he sees them as just elaborate walls. Beautiful, intricate ceremonies we build to protect ourselves from the cold, hard fact that the universe doesn't care about us. And the knight's heroic search for meaning, to the Jester, it's just another beautiful, tragic wall built to keep out a senseless horror. The knight, he's just staring into the Jester's eyes, and he finally demands an answer. If God is silent, can any act we do truly be meaningful? I mean, this is the question that's tearing him apart. And the Jester, he's ready to explain his own, very different path.
The Jester's way is not a hero's journey. It's what he calls an inverted journey. This isn't about climbing some mountain to grab a sacred flame. No, this is about descending into the basement of your own soul, into the dark, messy, shadowed corners where the easy light of simple virtue just can't reach.
And this right here, this is the philosophical heart of the whole thing. Meaning isn't some trophy you get at the top of the mountain. According to the Jester, meaning is simply the direction you choose to walk. And over a lifetime, that path becomes you. It becomes the shape and the substance of your life.
The Jester then drops this bombshell. Our spirit, what makes us human, isn't defined by the answers we find. It's defined by the fact that we can't stop asking the questions in the first place. We are the only creatures who shake our fists at the sky and demand meaning from a universe that owes us absolutely nothing. That struggle, that is the spirit.
Now, to really drive his point home, the Jester introduces a third character, an actor named Joff, who is the absolute polar opposite of the knight in his intellectual suffering.
Joff, it turns out, is the real knight of faith in this story. And why? Because his goodness isn't an act. It's not a performance he puts on. It's just his default setting. The knight is constantly striving and struggling to be virtuous. For Joff, it's as natural and as necessary as breathing.
To explain this, the Jester talks about the ember. Think of it like this tiny, glowing coal that's inside every single one of us. It's our built-in capacity to face uncomfortable truths. It's a little light we're all given, and it's fueled by a simple choice, the choice to turn toward knowing instead of turning away. And right here is the crucial difference. The knight approaches this inner ember with calculation. He strategizes. He weighs the pros and cons. But Joff, the noble soul, he just turns toward it, with the simple, easy expression of someone doing the most obvious thing in the world. For him, facing the truth isn't some big agonizing choice. It's just what you do.
And then, the Jester issues a warning. This silence of heaven, it isn't going to last forever. It's the quiet before the storm. It's a tension that's been building and building towards a moment of absolutely terrible, undeniable clarity.
When it finally does break, it's not with a thunderclap. The source describes it as the moment right before the final note completes a musical chord that's been hanging, suspended in the air, for an entire lifetime. It's that moment of final, irreversible resolution, whether you're ready for it or not. In this moment, it's called the blight of revelation. Imagine a cold, sterile white light suddenly floods a room, so bright that every performance, every polite lie, every layer of self-deception is just instantly burned away. It exposes all the unspoken truths you've accumulated over a lifetime, and it makes every single soul in that room completely, utterly readable.
And once that light hits, it's all over. The posturing, the quest, the armor, the titles, it all just falls away into a pile on the floor. And, as the Jester says, in that moment, there is only one question left to answer.
And this is it. This is the knight's ultimate choice, boiled down to its absolute essence. Will he finally turn and face that inner, uncomfortable light, that ember, and deal with whatever truth it reveals? Or will he just close the curtain and go back to the comfortable, familiar darkness of his own illusions?
But just when it feels like judgment is about to be passed, the story takes one last incredible turn. The Jester's role completely shifts in a way that neither the knight nor us could have ever seen coming.
That cold, absolute, judging void register, it just fades away. And in its place, we hear the ember voice, the warm, vulnerable, human voice of the man underneath the mask. The instrument of truth suddenly reminds us that he has a soul of his own.
And in this absolutely stunning moment of confession, the Jester admits his own fear. He reveals he's not some divine judge looking down from on high. He is a fellow traveler on that same scary, downward road, just as terrified as anyone of finding nothing but his own emptiness at the end of it all. He's not the light itself. He's just the angle at which the light happens to fall on the knight's own shadow. The Jester leaves the knight standing there on that gray shore, completely alone with his choice. And the parable, well, it leaves us right there with him. It takes this huge, mythic story and turns it back on us into a quiet, deeply personal question. A final thought to carry with us into the silence.